what the Pilates for this is going to be. So if we're doing an underhand flower in anti-spin, if we're doing an underhand flower in spin, you would do the backstroke. But if you're doing an underhand flower in anti-spin, you do what's like the forward stroke. So if you start with your right arm up, left arm down, you go forward with your right arm and back with your left arm as you continue through in the Pilates. And I just wanted to warm up your body and get you open to this. It's a reasonable pace. And we'll do 5 more, and 4 more, 3 more, and 2 more, and last one. Okay, now let's do the left arm, and let's start by doing just the placement drills. So if you start with the poi going in the bottom position, then you're going to go from the bottom to the back, opening your hip this way, and we're going to hold it here. And if you're noticing your poi do something like this, instead of being on a sort of flat line like this, it starts drifting. What you want to do is focus on a couple of things. First, make sure your palm is back here and you've opened your hip so that it's back here behind you. Make sure that the elbow is soft. You don't want to lock the elbow. Make sure the palm is facing outward. And then at the bottom of the turn, you want to scoop and flick your fingers and your wrists so that the poi comes forward. You're down here, and then you pop it back here like this and open the hip. But you have to flick down and forward with the wrist and the fingertips to keep it. You go back here. This is the first position. Then you go up here. That's the second position. And then you come to the front here. That's your third position. And so now you're shooting down and forward with the poi in front of you. And then your right hand would be back here. So your hip is actually open to the other side. And your left hip would be forward with your left hand. And then you're going to come back down to the bottom and you come back to neutral hip, right? So it's back, up, front, down. Back, up, front, down. Back, up, front, down. Yes. Back, up, front, down. And then as you do this, in the beginning, I think it can be helpful to look at it, to be like, oh, okay, am I getting this in the right place? But, especially if you don't have a mirror. But ultimately, what you want to be doing is looking forward or having your eyes closed while you're doing this, because you don't want to have to look and have that dependency. I often have you do the T stance, or one foot's ahead of the other. In this particular instance, I would not recommend that, so that you don't develop a dependency on having one or the other stance, and I would stand neutral. And then I would open the hip without opening the foot, and which is why I had you do the Pilates, but I wasn't looking at your footwork at the time. I think opening your hip gives you the flexibility. I mean, this is the whole point of this whole Pilates business, right? We're trying to use these core muscles in here to help direct what the poi is actually doing through the core, which will allow us later to have our footwork be independent of what the poi gestures are, thus giving you more flexibility in your dance, in my opinion. Here's the thing that's kind of interesting / challenging / weird / new about the anti-spin. When you're in the bottom position and you go to the back position, that's normal. That's a pedal and a rotation. But when you're going from the back position up and over to the front position, you don't stop here to do a rotation. You go up and over in one rotation of the poi. So technically it's the bottom here, up and around and down to the bottom here. That is the one rotation of the poi that creates 1.5 petals. That's how you end up with a 4-petal flower, with 3 rotations, because you do one rotation completes at the bottom, then one rotation completes at the back, and then one rotation after you go up and over completes at the front, and then down to the bottom. So if I were to count out loud as I'm hitting the bottom of the turn, I would go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, if I were to count the petals at the outermost point of the petal, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now that's the rotations. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now the petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the rotations. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Thus, demonstrating The 3 rotations make the 4 petals. Let's do the same thing with the right arm, just for balance. So same thing, we're gonna start at the bottom. It's an underhand. And then we're gonna go from the bottom to the back position. Remember to open your hip, even though your feet are gonna be both side by side. Then we're gonna go up, back to neutral, to the front, so your body's open to the left now because your left hand is gonna be in the back, and then come back down. So back, up, front, down, and if you did it at speed, it would be back, up, front, down, back, up, front, down, back, up, front, down, back, up, front, down. And if you have to start out by looking at your arm, great. And then ultimately either close your eyes or look forward so that you have no dependency on your visual orientation relative to your ability to physiologically produce the movement. Let me give you the drills to try and put it together. I think it's helpful to do the placement drills where you're like this, and then you're like this, and then you're like this, and then you're like this. So you hold it in the place and you try and hold each position doing split time, split time, split time, switch, and 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 so on. And just doing that and practicing getting split time in each of these positions. Now in the beginning, I think that's much harder to do than just getting it into the positions. So if you need to sometimes be in same time, then switch to split time, then back to same time, but hold the positions. Part of the purpose of that drill is to have you understand the relative position of the 2 poi. Part of it is to help you understand how to move your body in order to create that. And then the last, most detail-oriented in a certain sense, is being sure that you have the right timing while you're doing it. The other thing to note about the split timing is you always want to lead with the same hand. So if your left one starts first, then it should always start first when you're moving from position to position. And then after you have comfort with that, what I would do is the 2 positions at a time drill, where what you're trying to do is go from the horizontal, because you're going to skip the rotation with one of the hands while you do a rotation with the other hand, and then end up here in this position. That was in spin, so go the other way. So if we're here with the left in the back and the right is in the front, the left goes up and the right goes down. Bum, bum, bum. And then the left will go down when it's from the front, and the right will go up. Bum, bum, bum. And the left will go up while the right goes down. Bum, bum, bum. And then the left will go down while the right goes up. Bum, bum, bum. In the front, you do the bounce across the bottom. When you're in the back, you do the lift across the top.